And welcome back to another GACC Podcast, where we're going to be discussing games, anime, computers, and collectibles, but not necessarily all of that in one week. I am your host, Harrison. To my right,
James.
And to my left,
JackTheRipOff.
And Jack's special guest for this week joining us, and we're going to be discussing the news of the week. You ready, Jack?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Let's get started.
All right. So, does anybody have anything that they want to start with, or should I open up the can of worms?
You should open the can of worms with No Man's Sky.
With No Man's Sky.
Once again.
Yes.
I know. This is like, what, the fifth time?
Yeah, but there's always stuff coming up with it.
Yeah.
This is an amazing train wreck. I mean, we've not seen something happen like this, I think, since John Romero and Katana. Mm-hmm. So, where he basically was something that got super hyped and he was really hypey, and then it came out as a complete flop. But this time, the news appears to be that there's talk that No Man's Sky is potentially going to get bought out, and looks like it's either going to be by the Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda.
Or Ubisoft.
In my opinion, I kind of hope that it's Bethesda.
So we can have Roast Roda in space. Roast Roda!
Honestly, I figured it'd be more something kind of like on the line of Macbeth.
Macbeth, yeah.
Macbeth in space.
Yeah, Macbeth in space. Nah, but honestly though, it's like Bethesda has a really good history of creating open-end games and having these open worlds type games and being able to add in all the different types of lore and things that they can add into it that makes the game interesting and adds the meat and potatoes to it essentially. Everything that No Man's Sky currently is lacking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it is.
And it is an open world, so they would do good at that.
Absolutely.
Because, Skyrim's an amazing game. So is Fallout.
And the one part that I personally feel that No Man's Sky got correct is being able to add in the different species of different alien species and whatnot, being able to learn their languages and everything. But it still needs a little fine tuning in that sense, being able to learn more about them without having to pay money or do things just to learn a word.
That's true.
That's where I honestly think maybe Bethesda can do something really good with that.
I agree.
Well, then you're going to potentially enter in the Bethesda bugs too. That for some reason everybody finds endearing to their games.
This whole thing has been buggy though.
True, but it's not.
It's not going to be any different.
Okay, so the thing is, I don't think it's been as buggy as like an actual Bethesda game.
True.
Because Bethesda games are a weird set of bugs. The problem that No Man's Sky has had has been overhyping, over-marketing, and over-promising, and then it under-delivered.
Yes, true.
And
it upset a lot of people.
Yeah.
Indeed.
The biggest one that actually upset people was the multiplayer. There was... non-existent, but it was talked about, that there was going to be multiplayer, and it just...
Yeah, that was one where he's like, I can't believe you guys actually ran into each other. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you're going to promise this kind of thing and then not deliver on the official release of it. So how do you expect people to react?
Yeah, they're not going to be like.
That was one of the main selling points whenever they created No Man's Sky.
Was that E3, right?
Yeah, and they were still advertising it as this massive multiplayer. With how it was like 10 to the what power in order of being able to discover planets and shit like that.
It's like there's 18 quintillion planets.
Yeah.
Or solar systems. And they said it was going to take forever to get through this and everything else like that. And it'd be nigh impossible to run into somebody, But yeah, the thing is, they said there was going to be multiplayer. There was going to be, they showed big ship battles, everything like this. Yeah. And that didn't come through. Now, they are putting out an update here, and that update is going to actually introduce multiplayer. So there is a big update that's actually coming out here relatively soon that they have announced, even though...
It's a bit too late, though, because one of their major guys left, and
well, he's incognito. He essentially fell off the face of the earth.
Well, so James is actually right. There is one of their big developers that's not Sean Murray. Okay. Sean Murray has kind of fallen off and gone silent, and we don't know what he's doing. But there is another guy that is leaving the studio, and he's going over to work with Space Robert Industries. and that's what is it that Space Robber does again? It's another space game. Is that
I think so, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so they do that other space game has been developed. That's been in continual development for forever.
Yeah.
My gosh, here you're gonna make me look it up here. I can't. I haven't installed. I haven't even.
So why
even
do you
it.
think that Ubisoft would be a bad choice?
I don't think they'd be a bad choice. When it comes to open world type games, as well as being able to provide, multiple types of lore instead of just one continuous lore. Take Skyrim, for example. Me personally, I like Skyrim, but it's not necessarily my cup of tea because I prefer the post-apocalyptic futuristic style of Fallout. That's what I love. But when you look at both of them, it's not always just that one singular lore that you see. They have an entire world of different lores, different legends, different myths, all within this one game. And Ubisoft, they're a great company and everything, and they've made some pretty great games. But when it comes to open world and being able to add in all these different things that in a sense coalesce with one another, Bethesda really has that in the bag.
For some reason, I thought Ubisoft was in charge of what's that one game? Space.
Dead Space?
Mass Effect.
Oh, Mass Effect.
But that's
EA.
EA.
Yeah, no, that's EA.
Yeah, Ubisoft. They've done a couple in the past. They're space related, but they're not really big hitters. I mean, everything that they've really known about right now has been Assassin's Creed, which is semi-open world, and
it's semi-open world, but you only have that one line of lore.
Yeah.
There's nothing extra that they add into it.
Yeah. So, Star Citizen is the one that Robert Space Industries does.
Oh yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah, but Star Citizen is the one that's been really huge with space and space combat and some other things. But it's been 3 years. It's actually been in development. It's weird because it has this perpetual update cycle, more like an MMO versus No Man's Sky, which is basically an actual single player experience more than a multiplayer experience. And that was one of the things that was appealing. The fact that you could just go do it and it's very relaxing and everything like this. And it's still a good game to play as far as something that's not going to wind you up.
Yep.
And you just got to go explore. It has that Minecraft feel to it.
Absolutely.
And it is very pretty. But it's interesting that they're still on the rocks, with everything like this. And it's become the poster child of what not to do for an indie game or anything like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot different than the Fez backlash. Fez got a lot of backlash. It was an indie darling, but it was actually a well put out game and did everything it was promised to do. Versus when they started to make a second one, there was a huge backlash against from the community against them.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than what's gone on with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was all overhype and everything like that. And it was just absolutely silly.
Lesson learned: don't promise things that you're not going to put out.
Right.
Yeah. So, speaking of things that usually don't get, that nobody was expecting and promised, is I'm going to butcher this guy's name.
Did you just say the director of Miyazaki?
Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao.
Hayao. Okay, so James, you know a lot about this guy, right?
I like most of his work, yeah.
Okay, so who is this guy, and why is this important that he's coming out of retirement?
Ghibli Studios, all the films that are made. We're talking like Castle in the Sky, Princess Mononoke. You're talking about all those that are released.
Some of the biggest, most classic
anime. Have you not seen those?
I have actually not seen any of Studio Ghibli stuff.
I need to lend him some anime.
You really do.
I know, because I have a lot of that. Was it?
You don't understand. I am a huge fan.
Right?
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke is my favorite one out of all of them. All of them are good too. And then what's the one with I forget what it's called. The one where it's pork. He's like pork or bacon or something like that.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting
Or
is
ham. Not it's his ham.
So Studio Ghibli, I know, was doing a lot with Disney towards the end, also. But it seems like the studio's still around, but has kind of not been able to produce anything, right? James?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess that's the one with where it says ham. I forgot the name of the anime, but I guess it didn't do that well. So, but he was stepping down because it was because of I thought he stepped down for retirement because he was going blind.
Was it because he was going blind, or just?
I don't remember reading that.
Yeah,
I don't remember either. So don't take that for word. I don't know. That was something I heard. It could be wrong. So it probably is wrong.
Yeah,
So don't take that for granted because I have no idea why he retired.
You know what I've actually noticed on a lot of like the entertainment apps and things like that, like iFunny and things like that. I don't know if it's any correlation with him retiring or whatnot, but there's been a lot of like these really cute little animations from Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro.
Really?
A lot of really cute animations of Totoro himself doing a bunch of like cute shit. I don't know if that's actually any correlation to him retiring or just because people are such a big fan of that anime and big fan of that character that they want to do that. But it's like I have not seen My Neighbor Totoro, but I have fans who have. I have friends who have seen it and have very good memories of watching that series. And is it a movie or a series?
I think it's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people that I know personally have seen My Neighbor Totoro, and they've always spoken highly of it. And since I've been seeing this rise in like little animations or pictures of like people of Totoro, I kind of actually want to see it now. Like, and I'm normally not one to watch an older anime just because the art style of that era didn't really appeal to me too much.
Yeah, understandable.
Well, I think their art style actually started to kind of change. I mean, and that was the funny thing. So that's one of the reasons why Studio Ghibli did not necessarily appeal to me at the time, is because their art style was different than everything else.
1988 is My Neighbor Totoro.
Wow.
I was 7 years old.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I wasn't born yet. I'm a baby.
I wasn't born yet. You guys are old.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But apparently, it is a classic.
It is. Mm-hmm. And then there's this one that's listed here that I bought. I recently just bought the mangas for the gigantic collector's editions. Is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
I've heard of that one.
It's really sad.
Is it? Honestly, the title itself makes me think that it's going to be a very sad.
Because I bought it. I bought the books when Hastings was going out of business. The two book set. And then I bought it for a good price, and he's like, "That's going to be sad." And I'm like, "I'm not going to read it for a while then."
There was only one anime that ever made me cry, and come on, Clannad.
Clannad. Oh, did you watch the after story?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't stand it. The after story was just Clannad's a good anime, but the after story was just terrible because it's like, so now it's like, so the kid died, and the mom died. And he made a wish and all back to... Okay, really?
Yeah, at that point, it's just like, that's not what this is about.
Yeah, because the first one was sad because...
I was crying by episode 9.
Yeah, because it was sad because the kid got sick and the kid died. And it had a consequence. The kid died at the end.
Yeah.
I was sad. And then they made that after story. And I was like, I was sad, but then they did that whole thing at the end. I was like, okay, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
So if I say anybody's watch it, don't watch the after story. It's all right.
Well,
we should probably
reel back in. I'm gonna reel back in here, but I'm not gonna try to crowbar the segue.
You're talking to people who like anime, and it's Ponyo when it says ham.
So,
Ponyo.
So the interesting thing about watching things, and especially things that make you cry and all, shouldn't be doing this in your cars, folks. Apparently, a big thing that's come out this last week is they are blaming technology for the rise in traffic fatalities.
And not just texting and driving. No, this is much more than that.
Yeah, people watching videos?
People watching videos, people responding to apps, everything like this.
Why?
And people using their dashboard apps from that's featured on their cars.
Oh, okay.
While they're driving.
Yeah.
Now, normally, and me and Harrison spoke about this earlier before we actually began setting up for the recording. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him, it's like, isn't there a safety setting where once you reach a certain speed while driving, it disables those apps? And he actually explained to me that people will purposefully disable those.
Those shouldn't be disabled. You shouldn't be able to disable
Exactly.
Those.
Well,
if I was a manufacturer, I wouldn't give you the option to disable that. I'd be like, I'm sorry, no.
That's okay.
Hashtag don't be able to disable.
Okay, so wait a minute,
right?
wait, whoa. Now you're entering dangerous territory by not allowing people to
kill themselves?
Okay. Yes.
Go kill yourself with something else.
Okay, so here's the argument, okay? And because people should be responsible human beings. They should be able to know better than to disable that. But when you're forcing it onto somebody saying, no, that's something that should not necessarily be done, because it leads into other issues, and it can fall over into like other areas. And I'm going to bring up guns, because this is basically would be the argument that because of either you're not responsible or other things, or because your life's actually not in danger or something like this, you shouldn't be able to they try to take away gun rights or stuff like this.
Okay.
And so I feel it's a very similar argument, just for paralyzation purposes, is I think is a bad thing. You should absolutely be responsible with your apps. You should not be using them. They warn you, especially Pokemon Go, will flat out ask you.
Yeah, they've updated to be like, are you driving right now?
Yeah, are you driving? And people will go, no, I got to catch Charizard. Okay. This is a thing that people have to learn, when to put the phone down.
Yep.
When not to touch the in-car apps. Something could be done to maybe try to force this better so that people are at least prompted more. But I think this is a self-control issue. This is a lot.
It's absolutely a self-control issue. Mm-hmm. People are so glued to technology nowadays that, they even put their own personal safety and safety of other people, especially on the road, on the line.
Yeah.
And, this is coming from a podcast of a bunch of very tech-savvy people who enjoy technology. And,
I enjoy technology all the time.
And we still recognize that, obviously there needs to be a bit of common sense in between.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I absolutely understand there's a risk, and I knew that technology was going to end up causing this issue. I mean, you see the texting and driving and everything like this. Somebody gets a message, and the problem is people are conditioned right now that versus an email. An email you can get back to whenever, but for some reason with text messaging, people feel like they are impulsed to pick up their phone, look at it, and I have to reply.
Okay, so why don't you do this then? Instead of have it be touch activated, have it be voice activated for the cars then. That way they can respond by voice and not by touch.
It still counts as a distraction, though.
It does count as a distraction.
But not as bad. You'll be talking to it, and you can pay attention to the road and talk. Unless you're one of those people like, I need to talk and stare at it, then that's your fault.
Yeah.
And that is coming, and it really is coming that way. There is technology in the newer cars that will do text-to-speech for anything that comes in, whether it's like Twitter or messaging apps and stuff like this, and you can talk back to it. Because
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, distracted driving has technically been around for a while, because I mean, when I grew up, you still had the radio, you still had to switch out CDs, and you also had you were eating, in the car, or drinking, or smoking a cigarette.
Putting on makeup for
I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I did do the whole texting. And then but I got so good at it, I wasn't looking, so I just I would do typos. People what the heck?
Yeah, and
then I got yelled at and didn't do that again because I got slapped.
Yeah,
I got slapped. What are you doing? Don't do that while driving. Okay, all right,
fine.
Yeah. But it does seem like distracted driving has become a lot more of a issue nowadays, and I think a lot of it is. Some of it you can blame on the technology, because they are putting more technology and screens in the car to be looked at. And the problem is, with a screen, you are more inclined to look at this than to reach over and hit a button on your radio to change, or hit the eject button, pull out the disc, and find another one.
Yeah, because by that time, it's all muscle memory. You know where that button's going to be. You know where you keep your CDs. So that was me when I had CDs in my car. That was my dad with his CDs. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, it's just muscle memory, because you know where everything's at, and you eventually just learn where everything is. If you're trying to type out a message, you're not going to have that muscle memory for a keyboard, essentially.
Yeah.
They just need to get automated cars.
Yeah.
That way people could just do whatever they want.
Isn't Google still in the process of creating a self-driving car?
Google's working on self-driving cars. Apple's kind of supposedly working on it too. And there's some interesting controversies with that too. It's self-driving cars are kind of cool, but I actually have to believe Mercedes-Benz on this one. Uh-huh. They kind of played the devil's advocate on this and go, they are afraid that people are going to bully self-driving cars And I'm like, damn straight.
Oh, absolutely. They will take advantage of like this. Like, obviously, it's going to need a shit ton of sensors first off in order to be able to read like what's going on the road. People will take a lot of it, like very big advantage of that. They'll brake check a self-driving car. They'll drive real close to the side of a self-driving car.
Yeah,
they'll do all that kind of stuff.
People are absolutely going to be bullies because the thing is people naturally bully other drivers anyways nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, driving has become a lot more aggressive, and depending on where you live in the country too. It's in the time that I've been driving, which is
the 1700s to now.
Sure, let's go with the 1700s till now.
He's got his old Model T Ford in the back.
Right?
Yeah. I'm seeing, it seems like the drivers have become a lot less caring and courteous. And I think that's more of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know how many times I've been at a green light and somebody on the other side is in the left-hand turn lane and they go and they try to turn against me and cut across when they have not the right of way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or somebody will inch out into the intersection, sit in the middle of traffic trying to get through when they don't have the right of way. Or, they'll try to blast
the ability
across.
to safely do it.
Yeah. They either don't have the safety to do it, or they're in a rush and they come first, and so they put everybody else's life at danger.
Yeah.
And that's happened plenty of times too. So how I've gotten in more than a few wrecks, in my life is because somebody else was not paying attention or being in a rush while I've tried to be a safe driver. I think, you know what? Let's just say everybody has to go ride motorcycles. Then you can't be a distracted driver.
No, you have to concentrate.
Yeah.
Replace all the vehicles with the bike?
Yeah, just give everybody motorcycles. It takes care of the distracted driving thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to be paying attention. There's no way you're going to be able to look at your phone.
That's not going to solve anything. You'll get people trying to do stunts in the midair and they'll be like, oh, look at me.
Yeah,
there's always going to be those douchebags. But then when they crash, it's, it's their fault because you can just watch them. You're like, oh, that guy's going, oh, look, he just crashed.
Yeah.
Right? Click, 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 click.
Yeah, right.
But
That's what people do, sadly.
But some of the other things that need to happen is like is programs like Snapchat need to quit like recording the speed that you're going at when a picture's taken.
Now that's pretty stupid, honestly. Unless you're a passenger and not a driver.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to, hop on Snapchat while you're driving. Like, oh, look how fast I'm going.
Yeah, because, Snapchat allows motorists to post photos that record the speed of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay? This is dangerous because it's going to cause people to go, oh, I'm going to take a picture at 115 miles an hour and show it off to all my buddies. Look, bros. Yeah, that's causing issues.
Yeah, that'll be a great picture for the funeral slideshow.
Yeah.
Also, if the cops need to, they can go, yeah, you were going 115 according to your Snapchat.
Exactly.
I don't need to clock you. It's here.
Yep.
The proof is there.
And this has become, like a largest annual increase in the last couple of years. It looks like the first 6 months of 2016 saw highway deaths jump 10%.
Oof.
That's way off the scale compared to where it usually is.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is an epidemic, and folks, put down your damn phones.
Seriously,
and drive.
common sense, people.
It's not your text message or whatever. It can wait, man.
Yeah.
It really can.
You can plan out routes ahead of time. You can look at the map ahead of time, and you can have it on voice. And this, Google Maps, I think, causes a slight problem too, because it has a tendency sometimes, even if you're not looking at, to try to tell you too late.
Yeah.
And so then you see people go across 3 or 4 lanes.
Exactly.
So, that's kind of an issue too. And, don't like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, be careful with your apps. Turn them off if you need to. Try to use a little bit more planning ahead of time, and
hashtag it can wait.
Yeah.
It can wait.
But speaking of hashtags, we can probably move on to another app that we're talking about besides Snapchat, which would be Twitter.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're dying.
Well, yeah, they are a little, but the big thing is actually this is a censorship thing more than anything. So
taking away their freedom of free speech.
Yeah. So Twitter had already started to have some bias purging during the election cycle.
Very biased.
But they kind of got caught with it, and they've they cut it off for a bit
Yeah.
because they were getting backlash.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between purging or basically banning people that are really being offensive and threatening and everything like
Making
this.
actual threats or actual, crimes against, say, like race or something like that.
Right.
But this has been a lot more of a biased opinion from Twitter. Mainly the main people that are being banned from Twitter are the alt-right people.
Yeah, and this has been an issue, and it was actually Twitter and Facebook. There's been another purge right after the elections.
Yep.
And
big one.
And the thing is this is a sticky issue, because sure, they report it as the alt-right people, and a lot of those people very much push the boundaries of freedom of speech. That's, they push right to the edge because that is, an issue. And I will say that there are some of them that have been very threatening and have said some things that are more along the lines of hate speech and that they should be justifiably banned.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you have on the other side, you have people that have that are considered to have more progressive views that have made threats against people themselves, or that have not been banned. So it does leave the projection of a biasness on Twitter and Facebook's part, and that is what I don't agree with. You have the ability to say what you want in this country. Not everybody's going to agree with it, but there is a slight line, a thin line of common sense. Where basically when you start to get into hate speech against particular people or races or everything like this, but that's where it starts to get a little gray, because a lot of it is that they are saying, but these people are inciting violence and rage and hate and everything like this.
It's like, who doesn't at some point? There's always in every group, whether it be ethnicity, whether it be a political standpoint, it doesn't matter. Every group will have that small percentage that will incite hate, that will incite, those threatening tweets, or, saying those things that can be qualified as hate speech. That's going to be in every single group you will ever see. There's no, there is no better group.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's like there needs to be some policing, but when it starts to look a little slanted, that's a bad thing.
It's very
That
bad.
is, yeah.
And this comes with the whole fake news thing and everything too. But what's interesting is this has been causing the rise of a different platform called Gab.ai, or Gab is what the actual platform is. And it presents itself as a free speech platform. The problem is because the other sites are specifically hitting the alt-right, it is causing people to go over there and for that pool to be heavily alt-right right now. But they are picking up people in in other countries and everything too, and like Canada and India and everything like this, and they are growing. And hopefully they end up working out better than LO did, because LO tried to take on Twitter and it kind of fell on their face.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they did.
They weren't prepared.
no, they weren't prepared. But Gab seems to be doing very well taking on Twitter, because they allow 300 characters versus the 140 of Twitter.
Yep.
Since Gab has kind of started, it has helped to cause the Twitter stock to actually kind of fall some. Gab is still very much small private investors and everything like this.
Exactly.
And they're rolling stuff out in stages, and there's been some slight improvements. But, they're kind of like Twitter plus Reddit, is the feel, because you have the ability to upvote people's comments versus retweeting or liking them. So they have arrows on the side, so you can repost, but you can also upvote. And then you have 300 characters versus the 140 of Twitter. And yes, it is very heavy right now in conservative views and alt-right, because that's where they are being silenced or censored even people that are not particularly offensive have been hit, and they've moved over.
Yeah. On a quick related side note of that, you can actually compare that to how YouTube has been, with people with differing opinions, as opposed to the norm, end up getting their videos taken down.
Yeah, there's been issues with the copyright stuff there too, which has caused VidMe to do the same thing that Gab is. Basically, we are free speech. Now there's your common things, like obviously there's, you're not supposed to do pornography, you're not supposed to do hate speech. Flat out threats, hate speech, are very, very bad.
Absolutely.
There's a thin line where he gets close to it, but Gab allows people to self-censor. Basically, they can moderate themselves, saying, I don't want to see these things. So basically, these keywords, let's get rid of, or these hashtags, I don't want to come up in my search, or these particular users, I don't want them in my search, so that they don't come up within the news thing. So there is self-moderation there, which is good. So the ability to self-moderate, and it still causes a little bit of bubbling of people, but people bubble anyways.
Yes, they do.
And that's just how people work, is that they do bubble. They tend to stick with their crowds and everything like that. But the ability to self-police versus having the hammer brought down by the social media platforms is a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And so we'll have to see if how much this is going to affect them, because that's been a big thing lately, is censorship versus freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. And that's what, Jack, as you're saying with YouTube has caused issues too.
Yep.
Where they've been purging people that are not exactly
following the norm.
Following what's considered the social norm nowadays. Yeah. So, and some of those people, I will absolutely say, should be banned. But
that video I saw?
Yeah. Few and far between. Which video?
The one about the priest, yeah.
Oh, the priest and some of the stuff. Well, that one, okay. That's where you get a gray line. That's a gray line. I mean, if somebody's flat out saying it's
that was his opinion.
Yeah, that was his opinion.
Okay.
That's an opinion, and
right.
It's not like he's in that video. That's a tough one. That's the problem. Is you get into opinions and you get into feelings and things that cause emotions. It gets weird like that. Yeah. But they've been hitting or suppressing results for people that are having a more conservative view versus the progressive view. And there's been some weightedness there in everything lately with media. Or they're banning people for words that they're saying or talking about, like we've talked about before with the whole YouTube party is over thing, mm-hmm. Where basically it's like somebody is reporting on ISIS.
Yeah.
And because they're not a major news outlet, they're getting their monetization struck in, or they're getting struck down and everything like this. Or somebody's talking about the Islamic faith and they're providing information on it, or World War II. We've seen people get decent, things for talking about World War II. Even though it's historical accurate stuff, or you're talking about the Confederacy, what happened in the Civil War. These are historical things. These are things people need to know about. And once you start, suppressing those results or everything like that, you are stifling and you're stifling our ability to learn, and you're potentially preventing us from, from not repeating the same mistakes.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
That's one of those things where we're seeing like Gab and we're seeing VidMe rise. Is because sure, they are saying, freedom of speech with common sense things.
Yeah. And they do have, general guidelines, for,
like most places. Yeah,
exactly. But it's common sense type guidelines. Obviously no pornography, but VidMe will allow, if it were like an artistic representation, then partial nudity is allowed on VidMe as long as it represents an artistic value to it.
Yes.
You can't just straight up, flash your boobs on screen and think it's not going to get taken down.
Yeah. Or, you can end up saying, it's like, I don't like this person, or I don't agree with this person's views, and you're, fine you're fine with that, and that's great. You know, there's always that sort of, you know, stuff, and people want to put up videos on that, and that's great. The line is crossed when you go into, you know, hate, and that's even a very tough line. So it depends on how you phrase it or present it, because that's where it gets into. You can actually have hate speech, but you can disagree with an opinion. It's not typically hate speech.
Exactly.
So it's a weird gray area too, and you have to be able to watch something, step back, potentially watch it again or read it again, and not just let feelings get in the way.
Exactly. Whenever you talk about things like that, with things that you do not agree with, or, you know, things you find distasteful about a person, the personal emotion about it cannot be there. It has to be based on, in my opinion, or, you know, I disagree with this, and here is why I disagree with this. Mm-hmm. You can't just straight up say, you know, like me, I hate this person. Screw this person. You know, they can go die in a fire, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's not that's not acceptable.
Well, okay, so yeah, I can say, you know what, this person can go die in a fire. You know, that's an opinion. If I say someone needs to assassinate or kill this person, you know, and you are inciting violence, that is where you're over the line. This is, you know,
because then you're talking about like legitimate, like
harming someone.
I actually want this person harmed.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of the weird gray issues things is there's a difference between wishing harm, you know, because it's like, you know what, I don't like that person, then you go die in a fire. You know, that's wishing harm. If you're actually saying, go make this person die in a fire, that is actually inciting violence to cause harm. That's very little word difference there, and that's the thing.
That word difference that makes make it either be this, you know, acceptable or not acceptable.
Yeah,
but it's also a person's opinion on what they find acceptable. I don't think you should wish anyone harm, anyways.
True.
Oh, of course.
True. You know, there is that.
I mean, you don't have to agree with them, but
no. You don't have to, but some people are very opinionated too, and that's the problem.
This is true.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's like, you know, even the person that says, you know, that should go die in a fire. You know, it's just like, you know, you really should tone that down.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, and I can understand that and agree with it.
Yeah. But it does happen.
It does, and as long as we're human, it's going to keep happening.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Now, on a lighter note, did you see the anniversary for Xbox Live?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was actually.
The DLC.
Well, this
Especially for Halo 5.
Well,
that's
Halo
the
5
game
is
that I
pretty
have.
awesome.
I'm not exactly an Xbox fan
Why?
because I'm a PlayStation fanboy.
I'm just a video game fan.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong.
I'm like him, video game fan.
And don't get me wrong, I grew up on the PlayStation. You know, PlayStation 2. That was like, you know, PlayStation 2 was like one of the longest standing consoles next to the original Xbox.
It's still going in Japan. They still make video game.
That's
PlayStation
awesome.
2 games.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
well, parts of Japan, at least where my friends at.
Right. Okay. But what I will say about it is that, you know, I grew up with the PlayStation 2 and everything, and I grew up with all that because the PlayStation 2 being one of the longest standing consoles before they upgraded it to the PlayStation 3. But I mean, I will say, like, I'm just a fan of a good video game. It doesn't matter what console. It doesn't matter if it's PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Wii U. It doesn't matter. As long as I enjoy it and I have fun playing it, I don't care what it's from.
Well, as long as it's okay. So here's my thing. If you can get on one platform, if it's on both platforms, I have a tendency to lean towards one platform and go there versus the other one. That's the fanboyism, you know, in me.
PC.
PC nowadays more so than anything else with the latest generation of consoles. But it is, you know, fascinating that Microsoft, you know, has been out for 15 years with the Xbox. Mm-hmm. That is crazy, and to actually celebrate it, what they are doing.
Can I talk about this?
You absolutely can.
Yay. So I've actually got to have it kind of listed right here. Man, like, get out of my face, you ad. But I was kind of excited for this because I love the Halo series.
They're awesome.
It's amazing. And funny thing about that, actually, my dad, when I was about 14 or 15, my dad let me play Combat Evolved for the PC. I played that for the PC, which it surprised me. Like with the computer we had at the time, it wasn't like, you know, this souped up gaming PC, but it would run Combat Evolved like a champ. And I would sit there and just play. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I love it. And just getting in from that to Halo 2, then Halo 3, and then Halo 4, which, I mean, I think that was really cool having like that new type of enemy in there.
Yeah.
And then going into Halo 5 along with it. I've just been in love with the series. It's been an amazing game series. It's been absolutely awesome.
Reach was pretty good.
Reach was actually really good too. I enjoyed that one as well.
And ODST was good too.
ODST. I got the anniversary, the Master Chief Collection.
I got that one too.
So I can have all the games. And I actually, what I like about it is how you can go back to the original graphics and everything.
So what are they doing in the anniversary update, Jack?
I'm fanboying here. I know. Okay, so in order to celebrate for their anniversary, they're doing free DLC giveaways for both Halo 5 Guardians and Forza Horizon. I'm going to kind of touch more on the Halo portion, mainly because that's the one that I have and the one that I've loved. So between now and November 22nd, when you log on and you get on to Halo 5, for those who have it, you will receive for free the Mark IV armor and helmet, which is the Master Chief's armor and helmet, 4 Spunkers, 4 CE Magnums, and 4 Halo 2 beam rifles.
Beam rifles.
Beam rifles.
So they're giving away the expansion, the DLC, not the actual game.
The DLC, not the actual game. And then, so yeah, I mean, I think that's so freaking cool. Let's see. It says here, you can also celebrate Halo's anniversary by playing matches in the game's anniversary throwback playlist, which features community-made forged recreations of 6 Halo Combat Evolved maps.
That's pretty cool, too.
That's pretty awesome. And I think that is so cool.
And that's interesting, too, because they have the Halo 5 Forge now on the PC. So you can actually, you can
create your maps and everything on there.
Yes, and it will work, I believe, on the Xbox, and you can have on the PC. You can play on the PC now Halo 5,
nice,
in Forge maps.
Nice.
So they've done some really cool things there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and they have a couple of iOS things too that they're doing with the anniversary thing as far as stickers and all. And then I think there's also for Forza Horizon 3, they're giving away the 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor that features a 15-year Xbox anniversary livery.
I saw that.
So you're going to be able to get that, which is interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So
is that in game or is that just like
in game?
It's in game. You're not going to get an actual Ford F-150.
Yeah,
I would like to get a Ford.
Everyone, you get a Ford. You get a Ford. Everybody gets a Ford.
If only it worked that way. So, in giveaways, there's been some misunderstandings.
Not sponsored by Ford, actually.
Yeah, there were some misunderstandings apparently by the military, and this is actually pirating. And I find some irony in this. Okay, the U.S. Navy denies it has pirated over 550,000 copies of software, says that the contractor consented. Okay, this is the Navy getting accused of piracy. That's what's amusing.
Navy are pirates.
Hey,
yeah,
makes sense. They make sense.
Yeah,
See, pirates.
So a lawsuit has accused the U.S. Navy of pirating more than 550,000 copies of virtual reality software. The bit management software claims the government pilfered its 3D virtual reality software on a massive scale beginning in 2013. The software, the company says that it agreed to license BS Contract Geo on just 38 machines for the purpose of testing, trial runs, and integration into Navy systems. The suit, in which Bit Management conceded that it removed the control mechanism that tracked and limited the use of the software, seeks hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. And this is made by a German company, and that's where you get into a little bit of issue of it, because they said that the Navy says that they could use the software on hundreds of thousands of computers with licenses for 38 machines. The Navy denies that a procurement official acknowledged that additional licensing software was necessary for it to distribute the BS contract Geo to its users. So basically, the German company that made this software removed the licensing restriction for their testing, and supposedly the contractor said that they have the ability to run it on more computers. The problem is 38 licenses versus 550,000 licenses is still kind of an abuse.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this is going to get solved one way or the other, because usually the government doesn't screw up too bad, but they have faux pas on things like this in the past. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was amusing because the U.S. Navy is getting, who is getting accused of piracy. So, and usually you have sailors get associated with pirates, and the Pirate Bay and everything like that. So it tickled me the right way, basically. So that's one of the things that's been going on.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It is funny.
So speaking of not piracy, I guess, let's get into actual, trying to get things on the cheap, which is what the Navy was trying to do here. One of the things we talked about last podcast is we're going to talk about some peripherals.
Okay.
And we're going to do that here for the last probably about 15 minutes. So peripherals for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, your holiday season and whatnot. And I believe, James, that you had a pop-up display that's in Kickstarter you wanted to talk about.
James Oakey.
Okay, James Oakey.
Can I call myself James Oakey from now on?
No.
Is that a
No.
copyright? Why not?
You're not allowed.
Why not?
I don't
I
know.
said no.
Why?
Because I'm the guest and I said no.
That doesn't make sense. Because I'm the guest and I said no.
We're going to roll with it for right
Customer's
now.
always right.
Customer's always right?
Yes.
All right, cool.
So,
Oh, yeah, the pop-up display thing.
yeah, the pop-up, the
It's,
Spud.
Spud. It's called Spud. It's essentially a projector. It's a tiny little projector that they have a collapsible umbrella, and you unfold it and it has a monitor that it projects into. So you could take it anywhere. It's traveling. You could
Travel screen.
It's used for your cell phone, laptops, things like that. It's not going to be like something like that. It's not going to be high def. It's not going to be
It won't be huge.
It won't be 4K, is what I'm saying. But it's a good monitor. I saw the video. It has a Kickstarter. They used it for different scenarios. A person popped it out of the bag, hooked their phone up to it, and hooked it up through phone. It also has HDMI connections, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It has 28 days left, and it's
what is the quality for it then for the projector?
high definition.
So
So
1080p?
HD. It's going to be HD, I guess.
it's 1920 by 1080.
There you go.
Okay.
And a projector is about as big as one of these boxes, and it has an umbrella that basically you pop out into an actual flat screen that's 24 inches.
Well, the actual one's bigger than that box. It's like probably about like this big. The
Okay.
one in the video.
So it's okay.
Slightly
so
larger.
So
Yeah,
it's
slightly
slightly
larger.
larger than this, but the projector itself, plus then it has the whole umbrella thing that wraps around it too.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's basically pops out and has a screen, and then it projects against the back of that screen, and that's how it displays the image. And then you can hook in through HDMI to your cell phone or a computer if you need a secondary display.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it is cool because it is 24 inches.
I think it's cool because it's environmentally safer than having a plasma monitor with all the.
You still have bulbs, mercury.
True.
Okay, so it is a DLP projector, so you have bulbs and everything like that. It is nice from a standpoint of being able to travel. The Kickstarter is saying they're expecting it when it actually hits the market, as long as you're not an early adopter, for it to be about $400.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But
Okay, so that's
also,
not saving, but
I mean, when you think about it, though, a lot of these things that have projectors on it now tend to run up a little bit higher than that.
that's true.
They have phones out now with projectors on it, and those are expensive.
Yes, they are.
And you have all these little mini projectors that you can take with you, like portable projectors and stuff that run in like the 600, 700, 800 range.
Yep.
So honestly, in my opinion, I would prefer a $400 pop-up display
Rather than
a
this
$600
$700 item.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Now, for some people that are older, they'll understand this better. Basically, this thing, when you get it whole popped out, because it is basically an umbrella with a projector on the back of it, is if you set it on a workspace, it's going to take up about the same area as a old CRT monitor.
Yep.
So it's going to have
That's
that.
true, yeah.
Yeah, it is going to have that.
Just
but
less dangerous.
less.
Less chance of exploding and killing you.
Uh,
Or falling on you and killing you.
fine. I'll give you. I'll give you some of those points. Jeez. But
Or, bowing the table.
Right.
they're expecting it to start shipping middle of next year. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like June.
Because they only had 28 days left. I was hoping they'd have it done. And
No, it's 28 days. It's a Kickstarter, and then you
well.
you have a cycle
Never
to
mind
go
then.
through.
Some Kickstarters do really great. Others, it takes a little time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9. Oh,
There's actually a game currently. Their Kickstarter ended a long time ago, but they've raised almost $20 million for it for a game called Indivisible. I'm actually a backer for it. I'm a $30 backer for it. So I'm going to get like a free copy of the game and then like other all artwork and stuff for it. So I'm super excited for whenever that comes out. I actually did on my YouTube channel, is actually one of my older videos. I actually did a first person sort of, first impression sort of play of the free version of the game. It's actually pretty intense. Cool. It's really fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that thing goes. I'm sorry, that's a
no, that's
off
fine.
topic.
We're talking about Kickstarter, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just since we were talking about it in the first place, it's just like I can't wait for it.
And then HP also has their one that my friend carries around with him a lot. It's a portable monitor, 27-inch Beats powered NV lineup. So essentially, it's a little collapsible, looks like a tablet, and it's a monitor. It's a monitor.
What size is it?
27-inch.
27 inches. Yeah.
I think they have something like that for Asus as well.
Yeah, and I think they have a higher than 27 inches now. But yeah, it's a pretty neat monitor. It hooks up.
That's bigger than the monitors I have right now.
Yeah, it hooks up to anything by HDMI or
Yeah.
different types of connections, and it's actually a pretty good monitor.
That's awesome.
What are the prices on these monitors?
That monitor, my friend got it cheap because he worked for the company, so...
Because
Gotta love those connections.
Yeah.
Unlike my friend worked for the company, that's a huge difference. I think it was like $200 for it. It wasn't
No.
it wasn't that expensive, dude.
No,
Well,
I
when
don't
it's
believe
when
that.
it's just the monitor, I mean, and not
Well,
only
yeah,
that,
because
but
it's only
it's not putting in the extra money for like the casing and like
Exactly.
the stands and everything. It's literally just a little.
It's when you flip it over and put the little thing on the bottom and you connect it to your monitor.
And these are portable monitors. They're basically USB
I'm
powered.
sorry. The 27-inch is $500.
Okay, $500 is
there is a smaller one, the monitor.
There's a 15-inch one too.
The 15-inch ones I think is about $200 to $300.
Yeah,
That's not terrible.
but
Yeah, it's not.
but these are portable things. Let's go talk about like some keyboards and mice.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Black Friday coming around, and
And
so
Cyber Monday.
Yep, these are good times to pick up deals. And it looks like one of the big ones is you have your Razer Death Adder Essential Ergonomic Mouse. They're going to be, it looks like about $40 for Black Friday. And we're going to end up having, let's see here, the Death Adder Chroma Optical Gaming Mouse is supposed to be $55 at Best Buy.
Is that going to be for Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Both.
Both.
Like-
Okay.
Yeah, usually both those days go together nowadays.
Cyber Monday comes first, right?
No, Friday's
No?
before Monday. Black Friday. It's Black Friday, and then
I'm just trying to remember what day of the month.
Yeah, jerk.
Cyber Monday's after Black Friday. So it's
So 25th.
25th is Black Friday.
Okay, and then 28th is Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what day Black Friday.
Because I would have thought the week before too.
Well, that's
because
not,
you have your Cyber Monday, then lead it into
And
Base-
Cyber
Black
Friday.
Friday.
basically nowadays you have Black November.
That's New
Okay.
Egg, okay? That's only New Egg.
No, it's through Amazon too. Amazon starts their deals early too. So
And since I have Amazon Prime, I might
Yeah.
need to look into that.
I know.
yes,
What I would like to have on sale for Black Friday and Black Month or whatever sale would be the Nintendo. The remake of the Nintendo.
the mini Nintendo. Good luck.
The
with-
mini NES.
Yeah.
So that's not-
except I'm not paying $125 for that. I'll pay $60 for it because essentially it's a Raspberry Pi with emulators on it.
Yep.
I'll
Essentially.
give you $60
And
for
HDMI
it.
connection.
Yeah, and HDMI connection. I'll give you $60.
What's
for
cool
it.
about it is I was actually at a GameStop and the person was talking about that. You can switch from the old style NES graphics to like the improved NES graphics.
Ew. So how's this a peripheral?
It's not. I was
It's
just
not.
talking about
Okay.
Black Friday. Sorry, we didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Okay.
We're nerds.
Staying on target. So there are some others like the Razer Naga MMO mouse is going to be on sale through Amazon.
Oh, nice. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Cool.
That's a good mouse.
About 46. If you're looking for headsets and whatnot, the Astro A50s and 40s are actually on sale. The Astro A40 PC kit's going to be 100. The Astro A50 for the PS4 and Xbox One is supposed to be 250, and that's
How much does that run for usually? If
Those-
it's going to be $250 on Black Friday.
Those are about $350 headsets. They're ridiculous things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of those with like
This
a
is
really
so you
good mics
so you
on
can
them and
scream
everything.
at people when you're
Yeah.
playing Halo,
And it won't overload the mic.
Yeah. The HyperX, the HyperX cloud gaming headset, which is another good one. It's looks like it's typically 80 to $100. It's going to be on sale for 60.
Yeah, I might get that.
You're going to have the Corsair Vengeance 600 dual-sided mouse pads going to be on sale. These things I think are typically about $40. They're going to have them on sale for $25.
Wait, mouse pad?
It's a mouse pad. It's a big mouse pad. It's a hard surface, and it's basically the professional gamers like their mice pads. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
But you could just go make your own mouse pad.
No,
No.
If
What's the
you're a
difference?
hardcore gamer, you're gonna want like the quality built into the manufactured mouse pads that you want. Some that I've seen will have custom made mouse pads that actually fit across the entire desk.
Yeah, they have different sizes in them. Typically, some of them are made of a more hard.
I have a moderately
material.
good mouse pad, so I'm good.
You also have your aluminum mouse pads and
And they have textures in them so that they are, so that way the, what is it? So that it picks up with the optical mice. Some of them have low friction for high control, and then they have a higher friction, so that way.
So for the hardcore gamers who are doing like the tournament stuff, they don't have any
Yeah.
lag issues.
absolutely.
Yeah, or they don't, or that the mouse properly moves like it needs to.
Not
Yep.
go wiggy all over the place.
Right.
I have issues with that sometimes because I currently don't have a mouse pad, and since mine's an optical, and I'm using a wood desk to do all my gaming on, sometimes I'll have that issue.
Yep. Even I have that issue sometimes myself. Looks like you're going to have, I don't see too much in the way of keyboards right now, but I'm seeing like the Logitech is going to have sales on their mice.
Of course they are.
Like their G700S rechargeable gaming mouse is going to be for about, instead of $100, it looks like it's going to be about $50 on Amazon.
Cool.
So there's a lot of decent deals out there. Logitech G430 surround sound gaming headset. This is a corded headset. I actually like these. I have them myself. They usually go for about $80 in the stores.
Yeah.
They're going to be on sale for about $50.
Now are those PC or just
PC.
cool?
Yeah,
So
I have a buddy who has that same headset, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
The noise reduction on them are actually incredibly well done.
it's pretty good. I mean, the nice thing is you have USB also, so you can just you don't have to go through the sound card.
Yeah.
It does pretty good there. So I like that it has the adapter, so you can plug in a regular 3.5 millimeter ports, or you can use the USB one too.
Yeah.
I think some of the other things is we're going to have some monitor sales. Also, I haven't necessarily seen too much in the way of the actual monitors themselves, because they're usually overlooked with all the other
Gadgets
computer
and stuff.
parts. Yeah.
TVs. They also have the hard drives on sale too. I've noticed that too. A couple
Yeah.
of good hard drives.
They definitely are going to have those too. But, I think the big ones this season are going to be, people are going to be looking for like 24-inch monitors and 27-inch monitors. You are going to find your 23s and less that are going to be in the $100 range. But those are going to be 1080p monitors.
Yeah.
And you're going to be not have necessarily display ports. So take a look at the ports for these things, folks. Because,
Just to make sure you know what you're getting and you're getting the right thing that'll work with what you have.
yes.
Because the last thing you want to have is DVI on your computer and no DVI on the monitor.
Yeah.
So while I'm looking up some stuff here, either of you two, either James or Jack, is there any keyboard recommendations to look out for Black Friday?
Keyboard?
Keyboards.
I haven't seen any good ones. I have one at my house, but I don't think that's a Yeah, I don't think I have any good recommendations for keyboards, man.
Not necessarily, honestly. Like, if I could remember the brand of keyboard that I use, I would probably I say that because it's already, a little bit more on the budget sensitive side to begin with. So maybe if they do, make it cheaper later on for Black Friday, probably go for it. But like I said, I don't even remember the brand of it. All I know is it's a gaming keyboard and it works well for what I want to do.
There is the gaming mechanical keyboard that's out there.
Yeah.
The gaming mechanic.
That one's really good. If it's on Newegg, it might be on Black Friday. I would probably suggest that one.
There's a lot of gaming mechanical keyboards. Do you remember which one in particular?
It's the most popular one, the only one that's really on Newegg.
What is?
There's really not a lot of those mechanical gaming keyboards, because it's a huge gaming keyboard, lights up, and you click on it, it just sounds like it's a mechanical keyboard.
Is this the Corsair one, or is this the one made by Logitech?
So I think it's Corsair.
Okay.
It's not Logitech. I'd have known Logitech.
Got it. So monitors, looks like you're going to have one of the Dell 24-inch monitors is going to be on sale. 1080p monitor, so it's going to be instead of 120, it's like $100.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's sometimes you don't find big discounts in this stuff, but there are going to be some sales on the monitor. So keep an eye out too, especially for people if if they have a good computer and maybe they're just looking for some upgrades. Peripherals are always good because there's some of the last things that people think about, such as those headsets and those keyboards, and there's mice. In particular, you may want to check with some of the gamers. I'm not a fan of the USB keyboards because of ghosting issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that still have the old round PS2 port, and you can still get a good gaming keyboard for that. And you know what? Somebody's going to probably get mad at me out there when they find this out. But I use just a Roswell gaming keyboard. It's like Roswell. It's about $12, and it's PS2 based, and it doesn't have the ghosting issues. And
they make good mice too.
They do. And sometimes you just don't need a lot of fanciness in the keyboards.
Of course not.
Yeah, but it's still a lot better than your standard USB keyboard.
Yeah, it's the Corsair.
The Corsair?
Corsair.
Okay.
It's usually about $90.
Yeah.
That's a really good one because they have other like the Razer one. I've never used that one though, but my friend had the Corsair one, and that's a good one. That's a really good keyboard I would recommend. But as far as Roswell, they make a lot of good stuff.
Okay.
Because I have their computer case.
Uh-huh.
Because they made a computer case for one of the BlizzCons. I think it was BlizzCon 2014 or something like that. And the computer case has about 7 bays on the inside and 1 bay on top. You can have it. So they make really good stuff.
Nice.
So 2 of the big monitors, actually, I'm going to come back here, so that you should watch out for is there's an LG 34-inch. It's the ultra wide one, the 29 by 19.
Yeah.
1080p gaming monitor is going to be $250 on Black Friday. That's that's a steep discount. Those are usually
very steep.
Yeah, those are usually $400+ monitors. Asus is going to have or not Asus. Acer is going to have a 27-inch monitor available for about $210 for a 27-inch monitor. Looks like it's still a 1080p monitor.
I wonder if they're going to put that HP Curve monitor on there.
I don't know. I'm looking through the list here real quick. Looks like we have, let's see here. Dell has a 28-inch 4K monitor for $300.
Not bad.
So you can get 4K for $300 on Black Friday. And let's see here. You're going to find a lot of monitors in the 24-inch range. It looks like for 80 to 100 unless they're doing some crazy things.
Yeah.
LG has a smaller ultra-wide monitor. So it's still the 21 by 9. That's going to be $180. So under $200 price point. But it is a lot narrower.
To be honest, though, like for someone like for me personally, I'm perfectly fine with just between a 19 to a 24-inch monitor.
Nice.
Like I don't need the ultra wide right now, especially since I'm trying to do a dual monitor setup with everything I have for my channel. 2 ultra wides just would not fit on my desk.
No.
He needs you need that 34-inch HP monitor because you could split the monitors and have dual
Really?
on the inside. Yeah, that 34-inch HP
yeah.
monitor
So-
thing, you can have it split inside one giant monitor. You can have it split like as if it was different monitors.
So
That's really cool.
So the 30, that's one of the interesting things. He's
Yeah, but it's
right.
like $700 though.
So the 34-inch monitors, including the LG, should do this. I know their higher end one does, but you have the ability to do what's called picture by picture. Basically, you can have two inputs coming into it, and in those two inputs, you can actually run two different computers. Otherwise, you just have one super big, long desktop. So it's the same as having two
But
square monitors.
Even in that one gigantic long desktop, you can have different things open as if it were different monitors.
That's really
Yeah.
cool, actually. I
Yeah,
like that.
it's all in one contiguous screen. So
Oh, it's a beautiful screen. It's
Oh, I bet.
I set one up that I
Is
was
it curved?
Like, it is
It's
curved.
curved.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
I was like, God, this looks like Star Trek. It's like
That's awesome.
it has like two speakers on the side and everything.
I might have to look into that, when I'm not in crippling debt.
Right? Same here.
Thank you, thank you, college loans.
well, yeah. Thank you, college loans, and thank you, Black Friday, for crippling debt.
I'm not surprised. No, you didn't. None of them blamed Obama. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Leave that for our political podcast,
Yeah,
please.
Right?
we'll leave that for
Our
another.
yeah.
non-existent political podcast.
That HP monitor is amazing, though.
I'll have
I
to
like
look into
that.
that.
That one is something I would recommend because I've seen it several times now. The resolution is really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's about it for this week. I mean, we've managed to hit on quite a few stories.
Yeah, we did.
We've talked about some of the peripherals lightly. If you have any questions in regards to any of the peripherals or want more information, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and if we need to, we can make a separate video in regards to some of these things. Again, this has been the Jenny Fedora GACC Podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Jack from
Jack the Ripoff.
has been our guest for this week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Awesome. See ya.
The little DC heroes and Marvel heroes.
Oh yeah,
the
the
hero
little-
clicks, not the hero clicks. So there's a line of toys marketed at.